I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Dr. Bones, listening to Dr. Bones.
And now it's time for another episode of Blogger's Corner with Rick.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Britt from EclecticPop.com. Welcome to a new episode of Blogger's Corner with, of course, the eponymous Dr. Bones. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing well.
So, just before we get to Penny Dreadful, and I'll let you get that started in just one moment here. But since it is the 4th of July, which is Independence Day in the U.S., and it's Canada Day here on Tuesday, I got just a little clip here for all for yourself and all my U.S. friends and followers and family.
Woo-hoo! USA! USA! USA!
There you go. So, I just thought about that day, so I gotta get that clip up for that. So, let's go. Penny Dreadful.
Yeah, it was the season finale, and a lot happened. Well, I guess we'll save well, let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. Dr. Bones is right, and Ethan, he is a werewolf.
Woohoo! Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones. But I was just waiting for it, and then when it came up, I was like, I knew it!
I know. I was like, oh, he was right. Yes, it was a very cool moment. So I love the way they did it. You kind of felt it building up, and then bam, he wolfied out, and it was awesome.
So I was happy to see that. Now it gets a little bit more interesting. So
definitely, I think that the show, for me, this was the best episode of the season, and it was the last episode of the season. So
I know.
Kind of, you know.
I'm just saying. I know. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying. You're saying, and you agree?
I absolutely agree. This was a killer episode, and I kind of bummed it was the last one because now we got to wait like 6 months for the next one.
Yeah, I know. So that kind of sucks, but it was a really cool episode, and there were a lot of little twists and turns, and they finally found Mina, and Sir Malcolm had to choose between his daughter and Vanessa, his quasi, sort of, pseudo-adopted daughter, and he chose Vanessa, which was a really great moment between these two characters. I quite frankly haven't found a lot of poignant, really emotional moments throughout the series for me, but when he and Vanessa embraced, I thought, oh, that's so sweet, and they played it so well, Eva Green and Timothy Dalton, so that was really a highlight moment for me of the episode. What'd you think?
You know what? That was good. I'm still convinced that Vanessa is his real daughter.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
And
I think that, I don't know if he knows, but I think you're right.
I think that'll be coming next season, and I think too the fact that Vanessa is pretty much shooting down Dorian Gray is good because like really I'm pretty much sick of his character already. He's almost like he's almost like an annoying geek. He's like, all right, enough. We know. You know.
I know. There was something just kind of off about him. He was supposed to be. I always picture my Dorian Gray is a guy who's kind of mysterious and dark, and this guy seemed really sunny and upbeat and not very mysterious at all. Like everything's kind of out there, so it missed it for me. The character I hope they bring on next season is Jacqueline Hyde.
Yeah, that would be cool. I actually didn't think about that, but I'd be very curious to see if they do.
Yeah, I think that would be really fun, and I think that kind of goes with the show because everyone kind of is leading this double life. So I think that Dorian leading a double life, I don't know, he kind of was living it very openly. So, and I think the point of the whole Dorian character was that everyone else on the show or the canvas had guilt about something, and Dorian was the completely opposite. He was guilt-free. He's living his life, suck it, whoever has a problem.
Yeah, but and that
would have been awesome.
I just don't think he's completely guilt-free. I think even though his character's getting really annoying, I think they might come up with something like saying that there's something that they left out. At least I'm kind of hoping so to kind of make his character a little bit interesting again.
Yeah, I agree. And something a little edgy. I felt like he wasn't very. Everyone else kind of had this edginess, and he just didn't.
Yeah, it's more like you want to say wuss, you know. So
he just, yeah. I mean, I just don't know. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. It was just something just wasn't working. When he was upset about him and Vanessa breaking up, I don't know. I kind of got a little brother, big sister vibe from him. It was never something really, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, it was nothing really lust heavy.
no, and I know I agree, and like it just, oh, I know, he just, like I said, it just the character is like I said, is just a little bit too wussy for me at this point. And I mean, I know that Dorian Gray wasn't like I'm not expecting him to be like kind of a big brawny guy, that sort of thing. Just a little more depth to it.
Yeah, a little more tortured, a little more, a little more dark, a little more. The thing with Dorian, for me, reading the book, was that he was always he was charming, but he was a little bit menacing, and I didn't get anything menacing about this Dorian Gray.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree with that. But it was just as a whole, it was a good episode, So kind of obviously you found a lot more about Ethan, the fact that he's a werewolf, and know that the U.S. is looking for him. So they sent these two chuckleheads after him who didn't really do a good job even before he turned into a werewolf and pretty much devoured them.
Well, that's true, and I love scenes that build up where you got the guy getting ready to be, double teamed, and then bam, you're kind of thinking, oh, are they going to be competition? And then no, he did away with them. I loved it. I really enjoyed this character a lot, seeing his progression this season. Another character besides Dorian Gray that just fell flat for me was the creature, who was really the most annoying character on the episode, and then Dr. Frankenstein, for whatever reason, feeling this compassion for this guy, and then he is going to make Brana into his bride. Yeah,
see, I like to see which way that's going to go, too, because obviously, if he makes Brana his bride, then she's going to come around, and I can see Ethan kind of losing it a little bit,
I know, yeah, that will be fun. It will be interesting, and it will be so nice to see Billie Piper be able to play, to her full potential, because this year she was always having to be sick and be plagued, so now she'll be invincible, I suppose, and dealing with all of that.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the other thing is too is like I want to see more of her character, I mean, even though she was sick the whole time, I kind of like the character, so I want to see more of it, so I hope they do a good job with it. And the fact that they showed, well, the creature got fired and because he did this and blah blah, I was like, oh well, like someone was finally nice to him and then he screwed it up. Well, no, I didn't see that coming, so that was kind of a waste of time.
Well, that's true. I did feel like, and I felt like most of the storyline was a waste of time. I just never, I can't quite, once again, putting my finger on it, I just can't really understand what it is. For me, there was he hates everyone. And so why would anyone, the theater actor was very kind to him, but everything, and they kind of, I guess he showed that he kind of liked that guy, all right,
yeah.
But there was you have to give a little love to get a little love back.
Exactly. Yeah, you just, like I said, you just kind of somewhat frustrating, but just like it's like, oh, okay, like, boring. Can we move past this, please?
I agree. I totally agree, and I hope next season, just maybe focusing on Brana as a quote unquote creature, and then the real creature, he kicks it, and then we just focus on Brana and Dr. Frankenstein.
Well, you know what? I can. There's potential for that to happen because they haven't really done a whole lot with the creature, so there's not much to carry off from them except for the wife. So it's probably gonna be adding a new plot line, but we'll see.
Yeah, it will be interesting, and it would be also interesting if Dr. Frankenstein was in with the creature, because he's created Brana, but he kind of has like this weird pseudo father-son relationship with the creature, but now they're in a love triangle because she's grateful to him for bringing her back to life, perhaps, and then the creature's all jealous and angry again, and now we have this kind of conflict.
Yeah, and that's a possibility too. I mean, it's not necessarily endless what they can do with him, but it's like they better do something different to keep interest in that one. Otherwise, it was a really good finish. I'm surprised that I'm glad the way they did that, showing Ethan as a werewolf. Sir Malcolm having to kill Mina, and like so. I think it was well done in that aspect. I think they brought a lot to light.
Yeah, I agree. It was a very strong episode. Like I said, they saved the best for last, but I hope it wasn't too little too late for viewers who may have gotten turned off waiting for the payoff.
Yeah, well, like 8 episodes? That's not a lot to sit through to kind of get to a good point.
That's true, and that's why it kind of, just when you have these shows that are doing 8 to 10 episodes, something like Game of Thrones or Penny Dreadful, I feel this kind of frustration that there is 10 episodes, and it should be really concise storytelling. There shouldn't be any filler episodes, and I feel like some of these shows, even just doing 10 episodes, are kind of stretching things out, which we're used to watching a network television show that's, having to do 23. But I really don't understand why they can't keep the content level high, doing it for 10 weeks.
Well, even with a regular sitcom, they do a lot of filler shows too, like the flashback show and that sort of thing. There are ways kind of that they can do it. So it's not like it hasn't been done before. But no, with HBO, with limitedness of the episodes, you're right. They should be straight to the point all the way through to keep people's interest.
Yeah, I agree.
This is something that they're dragging out over maybe 2 months, and then
2 months.
And then every other show is at least 3 or 4 plus, depending. So yeah, it was they got to be a bit more direct, but. Other than that, it was kind of the finish I was hoping for. But I was just glad to see, and not for gloating rights. I'm just happy to see that that he is a werewolf. Because everything was put together. So if he hadn't become a werewolf, I would have been very surprised.
Yeah, I agree, and I was really impressed by the transformation, the special effects, and I like the whole look they're going. It reminds me of the original werewolf movie that I guess it was called Werewolf. I'm not sure. The black and white one.
Oh yeah, because there was that one, and there was Werewolf in London or something like that.
Exactly, yeah, which is a great movie, but they went a little bit different. In the original, I think it was the Wolfman was what the black and white version was called. He just kind of had a wolfatized face, which is what they're going for with the Penny Dreadful character.
No, very true. Speaking of werewolves, I actually watched a little bit of True Blood the other day too, and. It's one of those things, kind of half paying attention, is kind of doing kind of two things at once. And it was all right, but some of the stuff I just kind of like I said, I didn't read the books, but I know people have. So some of the stray offs they did were pretty bad. Did you see the latest episode?
Oh yes.
Okay, so when the preacher woman's in her kitchen and burns herself, so the vampire will save her with her blood, and then she starts tripping out and saying to Darno, "Speak up loud, I can't hear." He's like, "Okay, this doesn't have anything to do with the storyline at all."
That was weird, and I agree. I didn't. There was a lot in the whole episode that for me, we were just talking about filler episodes. For me, this was filler, and I'm thinking, you guys have 10 episodes, and you're in your final season. So why am I watching Silky read someone's diary, and it has nothing to do with the plot?
No, very true. Yeah, there was another thing right there. I think the only thing really good about the episode was the comic relief. Was Suki's brother was the other cop.
Yes.
Yeah, he was the only thing that kind of made the episode and made it funny because, when they're trying to figure out how long the pizza's sitting there, he eats it and he knows exactly how long it's been sitting there for, which was hilarious,
That was so funny.
I know. Oh, it's been about 4 days. I was like, that's awesome. So that's really the only thing that really got my attention, And then at the end, when was it the sheriff's daughter, he goes upstairs and there's their vampire up there, so she's like, I'm not here, we're connected by blood, blah, 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 she's in trouble. And I can't believe that they go to the cop station and all of a sudden, this strong female cop all of a sudden gives into kind of a mob mentality and starts handing everybody guns. This is just asking for trouble.
Yeah, I don't really get the whole mob. Everyone in the town is, raising up the pitchfork, so to speak, to combat this, and everyone just kind of needs to sit down and just talk it out. But I guess there's not time for diplomacy. That's been really frustrating because I feel like Sam, being the mayor, would have already kind of calmed everybody down a little bit, calmed the fears and everything. But also, one thing that kind of bugged me, I really like the Jessica character. She's the redheaded gal. Yeah. But she kills the last series. She killed the sheriff. He had 4 daughters originally. There might have been 5. but I think there were 4, and she killed all of them but one. And she seems kind of peeved that the sheriff would doubt that she might not have this latest daughter's best interest at heart. It's like, well, you kind of earned his animosity.
Okay, see that I didn't know about, so that's a thought for me. Like, I mean, I kind of thought I disliked her because she's a vampire, the whole thing. But either way, yeah, it was kind of crazy. It's like, you know, so like I'm not sure if I'll watch anymore. I just kind of happened to watch a bit of that one, and from what I saw, I was like, kind of boring and not really going anywhere. You know, like. And like I said, the only thing that was funny was Suki's brother, you know, like.
Yeah, he's so great and full of life and funny, and I don't really know how Suki and him come from the same parents, because she is boring and very not funny.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, it's like that. Lifetime's real life. You know, one's a yapper, the other one just doesn't say a word. It happens. So.
Well, that is very true. I just, you know, I wish that she would. Everyone, the whole show is kind of about everyone, except for this season, they start out and everyone's turned against her. But typically, everyone has a really good feeling about Suki. And I'm thinking, you know, I get why y'all would like Jason, but I don't really know Suki. Like, I'll see all these men are in love with her, and I'm thinking, you know, I don't really know. That seems a little bit of a stretch for me. She just seems so boring.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's a good-looking woman, right? So, I think that's what they're getting at. Who cares if she's boring? I mean, I would. I mean, I don't want to be dating a wall sort of thing, you know?
Well, that's true. I really hope that we see more Alcide this season. He's, you know, the big werewolf.
Yeah.
Is he a werewolf or a shapeshifter? No, he is a werewolf.
No, he's a werewolf.
Sam's a
Yeah,
shapeshifter.
I was gonna say Sam's a shapeshifter. So.
Exactly. I hope we see more of him. Because for me, I think that actor is great. He was on One Tree Hill. I know what he can do. Shout out to the best show ever. But it's I'm really waiting for him to kind of just really show out and have his own storyline. It feels like he's always a part of everyone else's drama.
Those CW shows.
They're great.
Sure. We'll go with that.
Yes, let's go with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I might watch a little bit more bits and pieces, but like I'll let you know if we do get into a little bit. I may not have the whole episode in mind. I might have just seen bits and pieces, or only kind of paid attention here and there. So you might have to fill in the empty spots. So if I only narrow down to certain spots, it's mainly because I probably haven't seen the entire episode, or I just like I said, I was kind of doing something else at the same time, so I was kind of like half paying attention.
Sure.
So like that might be a new one, and I'm getting caught up in Game of Thrones, so a few more weeks and I should be all caught up.
Yay! Where are you right now?
I'm halfway through the second season.
Okay, great. And are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's actually not too bad. So.
Awesome. Well, that not too bad and enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, I like I don't mind. Like, I mean, it's like I'm still watching it, so we'll put it
there
down.
You go.
What's that?
I was gonna say, what is something that you would say kind of keeps you from fully enjoying the show? Because I know it's not for everyone, but what would you say is the thing that kind of keeps you from like having a fully enjoyable experience?
Well, you know, I kind of like the kind of old, kind of like we'll call like medieval times sort of thing, and I don't know. I think there's I mean, I know there's like a lot of like blood and guts and like death and stuff like that, but I think like some of the sci-fi they kind of tie into it is just like I don't mind some sci-fi, but I'm not a huge fan, so sometimes it can kind of turn me off a little bit.
Okay, I got you.
So it all depends on the context it's put in. So
right.
I mean, it's a well written show, and no, it's but I just like I do like I said, I'm still watching it. So like if I was done with it, I would have gone past the first episode.
Okay, well that's a good sign then.
So, but yeah, I mean, you can't like everything, right? So I mean, there's because like not necessarily arguments, because I don't see a point to arguing this, but like you know, it's one of those things where like some classic movies, like, oh, you haven't seen that movie, and you know, and sometimes you can argue, like, I mean, it's a really good movie. Like, let's say, like Breakfast at Tiffany's, or no, if you know, the Brat Pack, no, like so, like 16 Candles, and Weird Science, and Pretty in Pink, and St. Elmo's Fire, and The Breakfast Club, like those are all like, and like, or even something like The Goonies, it's a kids movie, but it's still funny. I mean, like I still, if it's on TV, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So, but what I was getting at is there's some movies that they're obviously they're gonna go down because of all the awards they won, so they won. But I just not into the whole thing, and I know like. If people, oh, why don't you like it? It's just not my thing, and it's Lord of the Long movie. I couldn't make it through that movie if I tried. I mean, like you keep on kind of pouring a Red Bull down my throat, and I'd probably still fall asleep.
See, that's how I felt. Okay, I'm gonna make a movie confession right here.
Yep.
But I tried to watch The Breakfast Club. And I made it in about 5 minutes. I started to fall asleep, and I said, I can't continue. I have no desire to actually ever see the rest of that movie. I think it was horrible.
No, fair enough. I mean, I'd say, that's one thing. I could argue, say, oh, no, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. So, but there. You see my point exactly. No, you can't like everything. You're not gonna like everything, even if they are a classic movie.
Exactly, but you feel that pressure because everyone, wants to have a discord about it or talk. You kind of want to be into the conversation so you can verse about it. But if somebody wants to talk about the Breakfast Club, I can talk about the song, but about everything else, I've read the Wikipedia, but I can't make it through that movie. Yeah,
no, and that's fine. I mean, it's like I obviously a lot of people, including myself, will say otherwise, but it doesn't matter. No, it's your own personal opinion, and then it's just exactly like I said. There are some classic movies, even though they are classics, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to enjoy them. Like it's one of those things. It's like it's saying like well, you got to see it. And sometimes, honestly, some of the classics, I depending on what they are, I may watch just to watch it, even if I don't like it. I'll kind of struggle through it, sort of thing.
Yeah, same here.
So, but it happens, and that's the way it goes. If everybody liked everything, then the world would be extremely boring.
Oh, that is very true. That is very true.
So, I mean, it's because you got nothing to talk about. It was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. No. What do you think about it? It was awesome. I thought it was awesome too. It's like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, that would get boring very quickly.
So yeah, and it was funny because like I worked the other day. We were talking about the Goonies because I think it was like on TV like last week or the week before, and again, that's another movie that people may argue that they didn't really like it. I mean, like it really is like a kids movie, not like teeny tiny little kids, because it's got some vulgarities here and there. So I don't know, like PG-13 maybe. And we were talking about it the other day, and I feel bad. I feel kind of bad saying this, but we saw this person, and it just not the shape of his, not necessarily like the way. How can I put this nicely? His face was normal, but the way he looked like Sloth from the Goonies. Mm. So he didn't have the weird ears. No, his eyes were fine. Like it were no real deformities or anything like that. But he just kind of look at him. You think it's Sloth. I think it was more or less kind of the hair kind of almost a pointy head. And all of course the lines started coming out. Hey, you guys!
Oh wow!
Well, we didn't say this out loud. I mean, this is amongst ourselves.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Well, no, didn't say it to the person. We amongst ourselves.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good.
I was like, okay, maybe it wasn't that funny, but it wasn't mean. I was like,
I gotcha. I have never seen the Goonies, so I don't really, I don't have their the picture of the characters in my mind very well.
That's it. We're done.
Vulgar's Corner is over.
Yeah. But
I just have never gotten around to seeing it. I don't know really why.
Well, let me tell you, it's on TV quite a bit. Let me tell you. Are you still there, Britt?
Are kind of conservative about what we watched, and I just never. They thought it was too maybe scary for us, and then by the time that I gotten old enough to see it, I thought maybe it was a little bit too young for me to enjoy, but I don't know. Maybe I need to give it a shot.
I know. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
It's like, I mean, it's like you know, it is a kids movie, but it's a good movie. You can still enjoy it. You know, you can. So just Corey Feldman's in it too, actually.
Are the two Corys? Are both of the Corys in it?
No, it's just Corey Feldman.
Oh, okay.
No, he was in that movie solo, and he's really the only big name in that movie. So, and yeah, it was like 88 maybe 87, right around there.
Okay, all right, yeah. So yeah, one of those golden '80s movies, kind of like the Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, well, see, I like that movie.
I have not seen it. No, I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think I read about it one time and I thought, ooh, I don't know, this sounds dark. I don't know. But anytime where I feel like kids are in danger, so I know that nothing probably bad happens to them, but for me, it's like, whoa, I can't go there. Is that weird?
No, I mean, but bad stuff does happen to them, but I'm gonna leave it at that because I mean, I read the book before I saw the movie, but yeah, it gets pretty brutal.
Ooh, yeah. See, I don't know. I just can't with kids.
It's amongst themselves. It's like it's not adults doing this to them. It's amongst themselves.
Oh, okay.
So no, yeah, it's completely. They're pretty much fighting against each other. Like, I'm not gonna ruin it, but yeah, they're fighting against each other. It's got nothing to do with adults. It's just strictly the kids playing against themselves.
Okay, all right.
So, yeah, I'm just trying to. But yeah, we saw that, and the thing is, you know, working at the airport, no, you see a lot of people that look like people you know, or just like look like famous actors, and some of them are hilarious. But you know, obviously, you never make a comment to them personally unless it's a good compliment, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah. I'll be out with my sister, and we'll see people that look like celebrities all the time, and I'll say, "Oh my God, you know, there's obviously I can't think of. I'll say, "Oh my God, that's Matt Damon," and we'll be like, "Oh my God, yeah, he looks just like Matt Damon." But you know, that's very fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, and like I said, there's a lot of people that they may not look exactly like them, but they look similar, and it's always funny. Like, you know, you see them walk in, like, "Ladies and gentlemen, George Costanza," you know. You know, that sort of thing, right? So
exactly. I know sometimes my sister will say, I met someone, I'll say, what celebrity do they look like? And she says, not everyone doesn't look like a celebrity. And I'm like, yes they do. And we'll get into that's one of our big debates, but I still believe that you can find a little bit of a celebrity in everybody.
Actually, someone commented the other day to me, I wish I could remember the character's name, but I guess just because I think I was tired, it's like just, you know, it was one of those days, just exhausted and like look at me, I look like hell. Yeah, yeah, like the sheep's wool, like. So I had to throw that in because it was fitting. It was fitting to this conversation, but so it was one of the characters from The Walking Dead.
Ah, okay.
And I'm trying to remember what the guy's name is. I'm blanking right now. I might remember it by the end of the show, but yeah, they show me the picture on their phone. I was like, yeah, I kind of do.
So is this a good thing or a bad thing?
No, that's fine. I don't care. It's not horrible. I mean, the guy's not bad looking, so.
Oh, well, then that's good. People will tell me things, and I'll be like, okay, that's great, thank you. And it's someone that like you're maybe not the biggest fan of, but I mean, I guess it's better. It's better than other things.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you know, I just one of those things like, oh, I could see that, but yeah, it's not a bad thing at all. I wish I could remember his name, but I'm probably not going to. Probably think of it like 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. You know, like, oh, that's what it is. Damn it.
Yes. Oh man, I hate when that happens.
But you know what? That's the nice thing about phones now with having like a memo pad and that sort of thing. You can write it down without struggling to look for a pen and paper if you don't want to forget it.
Oh yes, exactly. I have that happen all the time. Oh, I'll make a note later. I think no, I need to make this note now because I'll definitely forget.
Exactly. So it's. I mean, it doesn't happen too often, but there are those days, and you think, and actually, there was this was probably about a month ago. Uh, buddy, a buddy had contacted me on Messenger, or his sister did, and I hadn't talked to him in a number of years. Just like, I was one of those things. Life happened, so I was didn't keep in good contact because we had stuff going on, and I was gonna call him, and I'm trying to think of his number. This was the night before, and I can remember everything but like two numbers in his numbers. Like, what could it be? And think about it, and forget it, because like. I'd rather talk to him on the phone than say some stuff via Messenger. It's nothing rude, just it's just make it more personal on the phone as opposed to typing back and forth.
Right.
So I'm thinking about this, and the next morning I'm talking to a buddy. Then all of a sudden it's like, hold that thought, and I I remember the rest of the number. So
Yes, that happens to me all the time. And props to you for remembering the number. If I didn't have it in my contacts, can't remember phone numbers.
well,
at
see,
all.
and that's the thing is, no, you got a good point, because even when cell phones first started, I still didn't use my contacts too much, because all these numbers I dialed so many times, I need the number. There's no need to hit the contacts. But now I have like 160 contacts, and there's no way I'm gonna remember all those numbers. I remember quite a few numbers, but 160 worth, probably not.
Yeah.
So, there's one of those things when I used to do, years ago, I did landscaping, and it was pretty much on my own. And my mom always told me, oh, you should have an agenda right where you're going to be next, because I wasn't always the same place, and, jumping around sometimes to do like 3 hours in one place, 4 hours in another place, that sort of thing. And I never do one because I got a good memory for that stuff. Like, I always know where I need to be and at what time I need to be there. And even though I had all the numbers down, at the time, I had them pretty much written down because I didn't have a cell phone yet. I had a pager, but so that's kind of dating myself a little bit there. But but I remembered all the numbers, and some of them I still remember, even though I haven't dialed them in years. It's one of those things. Like for phone numbers, if I dial consistently, then I can remember like 20, 30 numbers, no problem. And I'm really good with names too, which is normally very good with names. Maybe not stars' names, but just in general. Like people's names I've met, I'm usually very good about remembering them the first try. So.
Wow, that is impressive. I can only I remember faces and I try to remember the names with them, but if I have to recall their face first and then I do their name. Not I can't remember their name. I just always seeing their face first.
Well, fair enough. And in that instance, I kind of think of Liar Liar. Hey, Pete, you're not important enough to remember.
I love that movie.
So yeah, that I just thought of that, So, but just one of those things, like really good numbers. But nowadays, everybody's pretty much in the same boat. There's still a few numbers that they don't need their contacts for, but everything else they do, because there's no way they can remember the numbers unless you only have like 5 numbers that you got to remember. Different story. So.
Exactly.
So that's gonna wrap that part of it up. It's gonna do a quick few of the things in rock notes here, and then we can get right into your blogs. A couple of interesting articles actually. There was one where Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters was saying that crowdsourcing shows may change the game of touring altogether. And what he means is it's almost like these Kickstarter projects online for bands using money to make their albums. It's the same sort of deal where businesses can donate money, and they can sell a certain amount of tickets. And if everything goes, if the band plays great, the band doesn't play, then everybody will get their money back, so nobody will lose anything. And so a few guys actually in Richmond, Virginia, got that together. And the Foo Fighters saw it online, and so the Foo Fighters are going to play that show in Richmond, Virginia. There's no set date yet, but they will be playing there, and it'll be the first time since 1998. So about 16 years since they played in Richmond, Virginia, which is Dave Grohl's hometown, actually.
Wow, neat.
So they'll be playing there, so it's kind of one of those things, and if it keeps happening, then it could potentially change the way they look at things, because before he was saying, and it's true, they kind of chose who they wanted to play with and where they're going to play, or it was predetermined sort of thing. Now, if that happens, then they can kind of pick and choose a little bit more, and They don't necessarily have to play with, they don't necessarily have to pick an opening band, a bunch of different things. So other Foo Fighters news, they actually have an album that'll be coming out in November. It's yet to be titled, but it'll be coming out in November. It'll be accompanied by that documentary I talked about not too long ago. It was a series for HBO called Sonic Highways, which Dave Grohl did. And it was pretty much showed and talked about how the album was made, like the different recording studios they went to, and all the different collaborations they did. So a pretty cool thing. I'm looking forward to that and picking that whole package up. So that'll be out this November, and before then, hopefully soon, they'll have a title and an actual day of release. Next up, this was actually really cool, and this is talking about Jack White here. As we know who Jack White is, with the quickest release of an LP, the Lazaretto, and obviously he did bands like the Dead Weather, the White Stripes, Rock Contours. He's pretty. He just likes doing different stuff, and it kind of keeps on the move musically. So the latest show he did, apparently he's done a few of these in England, like in London, and they've been secret shows. And the latest one was kind of based off a psych ward. So it's people had to go online, and pretty much it started out with the crowd, the audience, changing into white hospital gown with mask, and at the very end, Jack White was carted away in an ambulance. So the way it pretty much went down is to gain entry to this show, you had to go online, you had to follow some clues online, and register to be tested for contagious and infectious diseases. Not really best kind of plot line here. So, and then a phone call and invite them to a late night appointment at a fictitious clinic called Best Coast and Company, with a follow-up text to reveal the location of the show. So what happens is the fans were greeted by doctors and nurses who asked them to sign a disclaimer and throw on these masking gowns, and away the show went. So it's something very interesting. Apparently he's got a couple more of these planned, so it'd be a lot of fun to be in the UK right now to see one of those, or just get into one of those secret shows.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. It's a really cool idea and a great marketing idea. Well,
that's right. So, yeah, I was interested to see that one. When I saw the title, I was like, wait, get into hospital again with a mask. What the hell? Like, so, so it did the title did grab my eye right away. So I had to read further. And, I would have read it anyways because of Jack White, but, the title kind of grabbed me right away. And it was pretty interesting how this whole show went down.
That is interesting. Now, does everyone in the crowd still wearing their mask and their hospital gown? I
believe so. It didn't say they took them off at all until the end.
So it's kind of like when you see those people wearing the Guy Fawkes mask, from V for Vendetta.
Right. That sort of thing. Yeah, they wore the entire show apparently. So, but interesting to see what Jack White will come up with next, and that's. That's it. I got nothing that's otherwise other than that that really stuck out as I guess something worthy talking about. There may be some stuff I know Bieber might be in the news again, but I'm done talking about that little douche. So
yay!
Yeah. I mean, some of it's funny, but it's enough's enough. I don't want to hear about you anymore. Just go away. So
that's what he wants.
I'll hope he gets it. So. So, so that's going to wrap it up. So, Brett, let's get into your blogs. You still with us? Brett?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great.
All right.
I don't know what happened. I must cut out. Okay. This week I had the TV report card, so we're on summer break, but some shows are over. So I had The Blacklist, Game of Thrones, Revenge, Tomorrow People, everything an overview. So Game of Thrones just wrapped its 4th season. So the thoughts on all of that, I score that with movies I do a 1 to 10 system, but on the TV report card to emulate the actual school report card, we just kind of, instead of doing a grade point average, which is probably a better idea for measurement. Stick with me, everyone. I'm doing an A plus, kind of thing. So Game of Thrones got an A, It could have been better, but, talking earlier about filler episodes, they had 2 filler episodes and 1 episode that did not have any Tyrion. And the episodes without Tyrion, no count. He's my favorite character. So when he's not around, it's just a very boring show for me. I can't handle it. I like other characters on the show, don't get me wrong, Barry's Littlefinger, but for me, he's the best. And then also had the best new movie bet, so kind of changing that up a little bit. Instead of I'm just going to do one movie that is the best. So this weekend, the only new release is Tammy, which is Melissa McCarthy's new movie. And the critics have been hating on it, and people are saying it's going to be doing dismally at the box office. But for me, Melissa McCarthy could read a phone book, and I would be there. So I'm still looking forward to seeing this, regardless of some of the buzz, because I love her. I think she's great. And, people were saying the same thing about The Heat last year, and that ended up being pretty funny. Did you see that?
Actually, I did not.
Okay. Well, that was surprisingly funny. And she is just such a scene stealer, so I'll watch her do anything. Like I said, obviously reading phone books, but just having doing the TV rundown a little bit this week, and I'll have the movie review for Begin Again coming out. Which it came out last week, limited release, and I didn't realize that. So, but this week is a wide release, so everyone can see it, and I'll post the review hopefully sometime today. And then I did a Let's Talk About, which is basically me ranting about the daytime Emmys last week, which were just absolutely horrible, disrespectful, and just awful.
Okay.
Yeah, because as a person who. Yes, I do. I watch soap operas. I watch 2. So anyway, and people just have this kind of thing where I literally had someone laugh in my face because I said that, and I was like, "Well, okay." And they said, "You can't even talk. Don't even talk to me anymore." I was like, "Oh, okay." So, but on daytime's only night to celebrate, I feel like it's a little time to get some respect. And there were some comments made on the red carpet that were just really inappropriate. And basically the whole article is kind of positing the idea that if the cast of Mad Men or Primetime Show were treated that way, there'd be whole controversy and everyone would be talking about it on all the media sites. But because there's this kind of expectation that daytime doesn't deserve the same respect, which I take, I met some of these people and they are very hard workers and just so nice. So I just hate that on the only night that they can get, celebrated, they get treated with disrespect.
Oh, right now though, like TV is kind of the place to be because not nearly as many people go to the movies anymore as they used to.
That's very true.
So getting a TV show or even a TV movie, it's probably a lot better at this point because more people are watching.
Exactly. And more people, 2 times the amount of people watch an episode of Young and the Restless than watch an episode of Mad Men. And you have all this cable, and everyone has all the their pop culture. They have built an icon for themselves. But if you're going to treat them with all that respect, and you're going to say it's about ratings, then you have to treat daytime with just as much respect.
Oh, fair enough. I admittedly, don't really watch any daytime shows, but agreed.
Yay! Dr. Bones is backing daytime, then I think other people should too.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. So, like I said, I'm not really around for daytime shows, and it's nothing but talk shows and soap operas and stuff like that. Stuff that I'm really not interested in is probably mainly why. They may do a good job, but I have no interest.
I hear you. I don't watch I take the soaps and watch them later, but it kind of, Game of Thrones and a lot of these primetime shows are soap operas. So, because you're following the same, group of characters through a lot of ups and downs. So, there's kind of this stigma just saying the word soap opera, but, Game of Thrones is a soap opera. I'm just putting it out there.
No, fair enough. Everything's somewhat soap opera in its own respect. And actually, one last thing I almost forgot about this. This Sunday, we'll start season 2 of The Witches of East End.
Yay!
So I'm looking forward to that. I saw the commercial for the preview for it the other day, and it looks like it's going to be a really good season, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to go a little darker with the show.
I think that's a good way to go, though. I mean, it kind of deserves that. I mean, that's the way it was kind of heading before the season ended anyway, so.
Yeah, it's true. And it looks a little more goth, so it's going to be a little edgier, I think.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. But that is going to wrap it up for today. So I hope everybody enjoyed tuning in to Bloggers Corner. We'll be back next Friday. Until then, bones out. Brett, it's always a pleasure having you on.
Thanks for having me.
So until next time, guys, which is next Friday. And remember, tomorrow will be a brand new episode of New Music Saturday. And if you want to submit your music, now's the time to do it. You can tweet or DM me for info, and I'll give you everything you need to know. I'll be taking submissions up until 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. Until then, bones out.